You're about to learn some of the best influencer marketing tips from real marketers who have done it. Some of these marketers are working at companies like Gamma, Loveable, Wix, and spending 6 and even 7 figures on influencer marketing. These are the tips that nobody's talking about that really separate the top performing campaigns from the average and even below average campaigns. This lesson comes from AJ Eckstein, the founder of Creator Match, which is a B2B influencer marketing agency. So when asked why a campaign might fail, one of the reasons kind of surprised me. He said if the brand launched a creator campaign the same day as their product or feature, there's a good chance that it would fail. And this is because there are inevitably some bugs or friction points when you first launch a new product or feature. And unfortunately, if your creators discover these bugs, they're going to talk about it to their audience. So instead, separate your product launch from your creator campaign by at least 2 weeks. This was also a mistake that Sarah Adam of Wix ran into. So she said in 2024, they released a feature that was frequently requested by web design users. So she selected top web design influencers for the launch and granted them early access so that they could be the first to break the news, which was on the same day as the PR. But it turned out she gave them access to a tool that was buggy without setting proper expectations. And you can see here that this influencer couldn't even complete the demo video. So you want to make sure that the product isn't buggy before you give it to influencers. Now, after your campaign goes live, most people just watch the analytics. But the top 1% of influencer marketers do something different. So they re-engage with everyone who just engaged with the influencer's content. Now, Mark Richard of Obvious actually has a whole outbound play that he runs on all of the audience members that engaged.
We're gonna extract all the people that have liked and commented on creators' posts, filter down on the ICPs, typically depend, but 25-30% of the people that have interacted are in the ICP of the customer, typically. And so that's one play. Second is that we can, thanks to Fibler, also know the accounts that have been touched with the thought leadership ad. So then with a tool like Claire or like Claire, for example, we can enrich the company, find the right persona inside that company and run outbound, because now we know that those people have already seen an ad, so they tend to have a better reply rate when we outreach them after they saw the creator's post, after they saw the ad, that kind of stuff. And the third one is all the people that visit the website. So with tools like Airbnb or Snitcher, we can identify the companies that are visiting the website from the organic part especially. And so we can say, okay, that's the 700 accounts that we brought thanks to the creator's post, for example. And now we will enrich to find the right personas into those accounts and run outbound of them. So we have 3 plays. And typically from all those plays, we see 10 to 25% reply rate and typically 2 to 4% conversion from contacted to meeting.
This lesson is one of my favorites, and it's to build an influencer onboarding process.
All the initial influencers, I onboarded manually myself. I would spend time, I would jump on a call with each one of them so that they understood what Gamma represented, how to use the product. And so we'd spend a lot of time, like me just walking through the product, them asking questions, us like just kind of brainstorming what could the hooks be, and me just giving them some initial feedback and like saying, oh yeah, this one, I love that. I think it's going to work great for your audience, but not trying to be super prescriptive. You really need to spend the time doing that. And just like you would onboard a customer, you onboard an influencer the same way. You want them to be an extension of your team. And like you're all of a sudden having this sort of, this relationship that actually can build over time. I think that's really where the magic is. Like too many people discount that initial piece.
So at ClickUp, they take this one step further by working with the creator one-on-one to find a legitimate product use case.
I'm not going to pay you yet because I don't know if you like my product. I'm not just going to have you go live if you use ClickUp or not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one of my best trainers, the best trainer in the game. And I'm going to find use cases for you. They're going to meet with you for an hour. And they're going to find use case, see if they can help your business or anything you do, and make sure to see if ClickUp would add any value to you at all. And if it does, then let's talk and then let's see if we can do a campaign and something around that.
These campaigns, just sharing genuine product use cases, are probably the most effective for B2B. In addition to onboarding influencers, once they've actually started using your product, listen to their feedback as well. So this is something AJ Eckstein does with a lot of his clients as well.
Like I know, shout out to AG1 or Athletic Greens, who we partner with at Creator Match. Their requirement is at minimum 15-minute call with every creator they work with, because they want to chat through the product, how they like it, any feedback. I mean, feedback is such a big part, as well as, hopefully they're using Hootsuite. What do they like about it? What they want changed?
I also heard that Sephora does this with their influencers. And if you want a list of these tips to refer back to later, I actually created a free resource that's available in the link in the description below. The next tip is to send users to a low ticket offer. So this was a lesson that the team at Ahrefs learned the hard way. So most people aren't going to immediately sign up for their product because the lowest tier costs over $100 per month. And so as a result, most of the attention driven from the influencer campaigns that Ahrefs was running didn't really convert. Instead, the CTA in their influencer campaigns now is to just sign up for their free Chrome extension. And that way, they're getting a lot more people in the Ahrefs ecosystem, and it kind of gives them a taste of the product, and then they can convert users when they're actually ready to buy. So instead of just sending people to your main product, make the CTA to like a lead magnet or free tool. The next tip will help you potentially earn more budget for your influencer campaigns and maximize their longevity.
Just the frequency of mentions, I think that translates into better brand awareness as a result, I think, because LLMs, I think, pick up on that because they run into your product a lot more often. Our SEO advisor, he did a research checking which of our products appear the most in LLM answers, and Ahrefs Webmaster Tools coincidentally was the most popular one. That is the product that LLMs mentioned the most, and that is the product that was mostly used in these partnerships campaigns. So I think it's obviously impossible to say if that's the reason, but the correlation is there.
So this study from Ahrefs shows that YouTube mentions are the most important factor for AI visibility, and they outperformed every other factor across ChatGPT, AI mode, and even AI overview. But it isn't just your AI visibility. You can also work with influencers to dominate the traditional YouTube and even Google search results for relevant keywords. And this is actually what Sarah Adam of Wix is currently doing. So she said, now in 2025, with LLMs changing the SEO game, we're working with 50% less YouTubers on highly targeted, dedicated videos based on top keywords, i.e. what our ICP is actually looking for both on YouTube and LLMs. She also said that this has impacted her influencer discovery process. She says, we're reaching out to YouTubers that are currently dominating top results for the target keywords that we defined. And an example of a brand that's doing this really well is the video editing platform Gling AI. So for example, they're sponsoring Think Media to target keywords like best video editing software in 2026, beginner to pro. 6 AI tools YouTubers actually use. The easiest ways to get YouTube views. So instead of just sponsoring YouTubers, have them target relevant keywords. This next tip comes from Tom Boston, a well-known B2B creator who has worked with companies like Storylane and Salesforce. So when I asked him if there was one thing that he wished that brands knew when they're working with creators, here's what he said.
So if you're a brand and you're working with a creator and they put the content out, engage with that post from the brand page, repost it, right? Give it an early boost. Encourage your team. Hey, we're working with this creator. They've just put out a video. Let's all jump on the video. Let's give them some love in the comments.
So create a system to have your team engage with the content so that it gets that initial boost and the algorithm shows it to more people. And engaging in the comments with your target audience also is going to strengthen the connection between the influencer's audience and your brand. Elena Verna is the head of growth at Loveable, and influencer marketing has been a key growth strategy that she's really relied on.
Influencer marketing is something that has worked from the beginning. Interestingly enough, influencer marketing is 10 times bigger for us than paid social.
But she doesn't credit influencer marketing as the cause of Loveable's rapid growth.
It's not why we're successful. It's amplifying our success and it's helping us reach new audiences.
So if you've tried influencer marketing and it didn't work, here's a harsh truth. Your product might not be that great. Ideally, you want the influencer's audience to start talking about your product organically with their friends and family. And that's when you start to see real traction. So the lesson here is don't start doing influencer marketing until you have really strong word of mouth growth. If you're relying entirely on paid media and you have high churn, influencer marketing, and really any marketing for that matter, is probably going to fail. Next, focus on niche ICP match creators, at least when you're getting started, before you start expanding to larger, broader audiences. Many of the influencer marketers, including the head of marketing at StoryLane, found that smaller creators tended to drive a higher ROI. But I wouldn't say definitively that influencers with smaller audiences are always more valuable than influencers with larger audiences. The nuance here is that ICP match creators are often the most valuable. These are the people who actually derive the most value from your product and are recognized as leaders in that customer segment. And so as a result, you can test specific customer segments and then deliver more targeted messages that resonate more effectively. And these niche creators tend to have a much closer relationship with their audience, and their promotions feel a lot more organic.
I think a lot of people think influencer marketing and they'll think, these big trendy creators, people that have like 1 million followers, for instance. And their idea is that, okay, we're going to carve out a really big budget. We're going to, choose like 5 or 6 that we feel like are really like the tastemakers in the space and put all of our money into like just help, having them talk about our products. And I think usually this is kind of the wrong approach. It never feels organic or authentic, and you wasted a ton of money doing so. I think you're much better doing the hard thing, which is hard to scale, but it's like finding the thousands of micro influencers that have an audience where your product maybe is actually useful. And for instance, for us, like early on, it'd be, educators, people that for them, part of their job is creating slides every day because they need to engage their students. And so like for them, having a tool that actually saved them a ton of time was something they love talking about. And if you can find some of these pockets, we call them echo chambers, where if you find a pocket like educators, teachers love telling other teachers about products they love using during summer break.
In fact, Alex of Perspective specifically recommends starting your influencer program with real users because they have real case studies that they can just naturally share.
If you are building your program from scratch, what you want is to work with people who are like 100% in your ICP. One of the first things that we did was like, okay, before going outside, let's try to find inside for people who might have an audience, might talk about these topics already, and that they are users, because those are like all way more easy to like convince to work with you at the beginning, obviously. And also you don't need to brief them basically, because they know the product, they have use cases, they have case studies, and especially in our case, our tool is like very much B2B, so it's very much based on results. We are a funnel tool, so we help people, get better conversion with the landing page and all of that, So if we can take someone that has a real use case, that's like in my previous tool, I got like 5% conversion rates. With Perspective, I have 25%. That's like a crazy video.
But I would add that targeting ICP match creators who are not currently customers can also work out well, assuming that you're onboarding them the same way that, say, ClickUp does, by actually working with them to discover a real use case. And you might even convert them into a customer. If you want a nifty workflow on creating ideal influencer profiles, here's the one that Sarah Adam of Wix uses. Another benefit of working with niche ICP match influencers is that it gives you more opportunities to test different audience segments, hooks, platforms, and other variables that do impact campaign performance. And all of this becomes valuable data that you can then use to scale your campaigns more effectively. Sarah Adam also shared similar advice on LinkedIn. She said that she prefers to spend budget on, say, 50 niche creators rather than 1 to 2 mega influencers. I particularly liked her third point, which is risk management. So there's always a chance that the algorithm shifts or that campaign might just not resonate that well. And she also added that more content means higher chances of going viral. One of the most common questions people ask is how much they should pay for an influencer post. And Alex had the best response to this question.
It really depends on like your business economics, at least that's how we look at it. I think a lot of brands make the mistake of like, we just pay without knowing like our internal numbers, and I think it's very important for you to know like how much you can pay for sign up, how much you can pay for customer.
So instead of just asking around if the price an influencer quotes you is a fair price, calculate if it actually works with your business economics.
Like we start from this number internally, like $100 per sign up. Okay, if we believe that this guy is going to bring us at least 10 signups, then we know that we can pay him $1,000, for example.
But estimating how many conversions you're going to get from a particular influencer campaign is kind of tricky. So sure, you can start by looking at the influencer's average impression counts from their posts from the past couple of months. But if you need help estimating a conversion rate on those impressions, here's a great tip.
Whenever we work with a creator, especially if they are like bigger one, it will be asked like, have you done other sponsored posts? And if you have, what have been the results? And that's actually something that you can see with Favicon, right? So that's super helpful because you can see, okay, for other brands when they do like sponsored posts, these are the results that we can expect. And especially if you can go to like brands that are very similar to your brand.
Now that isn't to say that you can always directly calculate the ROI of an influencer partnership. You're also getting the benefit of the influencer's credibility, which isn't really a value that you can accurately calculate. But it's wise to at least walk into a negotiation with a number in mind so that it's based in your own business metrics. And speaking of campaign tracking, the next lesson is to track beyond just the UTM. In fact, Jeremy, who was previously the head of influencer marketing at Doula, shared this graph that showed that only a fraction of sales were actually directly attributed via the link. So be sure to also have other tracking set up, like a post-purchase survey. Now, one of the downsides of influencer marketing is that performance really varies wildly. So a tip to minimize volatility is to simply boost your top performing organic influencer campaigns with paid ads. And Brendan, the founder of Creator Authority, shared that he almost always recommends boosting creator posts with paid ads.
Amplifying creator content with paid is so critical. It makes your investment so much more efficient. We're seeing thought leader ads come in 15 to 20% the LinkedIn average CPM, or sometimes even less.
Now, keep in mind that you do have to pay for the rights to boost the ads, but it can be a much easier way to control the ROI and then mitigate the volatility of organic influencer content. Now, there's a lot of value in product-focused posts where creators just share case studies and product use cases. But a lot of the more creative campaign concepts tend to be delivering outsized returns. So for example, Storylane has had really great success with comedic skit content. And while there's debate over the ROI of this type of campaign, their head of marketing did reveal that the month that they were running these campaigns was also the month where they had the most signups. Similarly, Fiona of Gamma said that the edutainment style of content has worked best for them.
Content works really well for us. Like anything comedy related, skits always performs the best.
And when I asked the previous head of influencer at Loveable how he'd create a campaign for a boring B2B company, here's what he had to say.
So I would go find like a comedian or somebody like that who then can help still like show the product, right? And still get you that outcome, but they would find a really unique angle that then could really resonate with the audience or do really well.
Now, one pro tip that I'll add is that I noticed most of these successful edutainment campaigns really centered the main idea around the product's key differentiator. So I'll give you an example. For Storylane, the problem that they're solving is that most demo software forces prospects to book a demo that draws out the buying cycle, which ultimately requires more time and resources for both the buyers and the sellers. So all of their comedic skits are really centered around that pain point. So even though these skits are very entertaining, they're still effectively communicating the pain point that Storylane's product actually solves. Another tip that almost all of the influencer marketers I interviewed mentioned was always give creators full creative freedom.
Always 100% creative freedom fully. You understand your audience. This is our goal. Do what you gotta do. We'll check it afterwards.
In fact, many influencer marketers said that giving a script is one of the most common creator marketing mistakes that they see. For Eileen of Hootsuite, she prefers getting on a call with them to collaboratively brainstorm what kind of content would work best for the creator to ensure that they have full creative freedom but still meet the brand's goals.
Whenever I work with creators, I like to hop on a call with them. I want to have that personal touch of understanding what they're like, what type of content they like to post about, and what is natural to them. There's been a lot of moments where I would create a brief, I would hop on call and say, this is what we're hoping for. And they would say, hey, I'm on board, but I don't really want to post a video. It's not natural to me. I like to do text only posts, or I like to do just images, and I want to be able to lean into that. They're the expert. They know what works best on their platform. So by being able to be proactive and work with them and have that flexibility, I think that's what kind of bridges a successful campaign on LinkedIn.
The next tip comes from Nicole of SEMrush, and it's to develop long-term partnerships.
Every time that I try to work with an influencer, my goal is to always work with them again. It's never to just do a one-off. Yeah, ideally, our goal is to always make sure that we build them as like advocates to the brand and also to the product in general, for sure.
This next one I debated including because it seems kind of obvious, but it's often overlooked and it could very well be the most important tip on this list. And this tip is to ensure your creators actually disclose their partnerships. So AJ Eckstein of Creator Match wrote a LinkedIn post on the topic, and he made 3 very good points. First, FTC lawsuits can cost you millions. Secondly, consumers probably aren't going to trust your brand. And finally, it's just going to make it a lot harder for you to partner with quality creators in the future. One of the trickiest aspects of influencer marketing is just getting influencers to respond to your outreach message. For example, Alex shared that his cold email outreach response is usually only about 30%, and that's actually pretty good. But he shared a hack that generates an 80% response rate, and that's just engaging with the influencer's content. So instead of just relying on cold emails or cold DMs, just leave a comment like this. Hey, love your content. Would love to partner on a brand deal. Where can I contact you? Now I will add a caveat that this probably won't work on super large creators, but if you're following the tips above and are starting with these niche ICP match creators, then this tip really should work. And as you get some creator campaigns under your belt, typically, other creators are going to be a lot more likely to respond to your requests. Also, if you've learned something so far, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe because I'm constantly interviewing the best influencer marketers and I share all of their best tips on this channel. Now, those were some of my favorite tips from the best influencer marketers, but I was really curious to dive into the campaigns that they run. So if you want to check out some of the very best B2B influencer marketing campaign examples, then check out this video over here.